Um, Hi everyone, before I go to sleep again, so I wanted to actually just make a video about something concerning being in a high controlling, toxic church environment. So this can actually apply not just to Christian churches, but also to cases of other religions, and not just religions, but political institutions and social institutions. When do we exactly know that we are in this situation where we need to leave, or at least distance ourselves from that organization and from that religious body? Okay, because it's actually causing more harm than good. Okay, so I have actually said some time back this about this something about this situation concerning uh, member of the former church that I was in many years ago when there was, I think, 2002 to 2005 inside a Bible Presbyterian church, when the pastor was telling us about a member who had taken his or her own life, and that he had to actually conduct a funeral service as a Bible Presbyterian pastor, and obviously it wasn't very accepted by members who were, like basically consigning the soul of that person to hell. Yeah, it was very uncharitable on the part of the members who did that. And I said that. And in defense of the pastor, there was, I think he was being more merciful to say that, that ultimately, you can't just let one act cancel out everything that, the grace of God and the way He works in our lives. But, that said, I'm not talking about this, but I'm talking about something else. That when do you exactly know when you need to leave that church or that organization and get away to a safer space? Okay, the one thing about all this, these toxic environments, these controlling environments, even not just cults, okay, not just cult groups, but even high controlling religion, is that there is actually a very strong parallel between that environment and the environment of narcissistic abuse and control. Okay, why do I say that? Okay, I'm not just speaking from personal perspective, as someone who has actually been through a narcissistic relationship, even outside the context of romantic relationships, and there are also other narcissistic relationships in the case of friendships, work, even family relationships, which are narcissistic. There's always one or two, narcissists involved, and in this case, the dynamics between in the case of the narcissistic relationship are actually very, very similar to the dynamics in the toxic or damaging church environment. Okay, I will actually just talk a bit more about the patterns. There are some patterns which are very similar. The first pattern is actually the pattern of love bombing. Love bombing is when you're overwhelmed by all that love and all that compliments, flattery, things about your achievements. And the problem with love bombing, as we all know in all narcissistic relationships, is that it doesn't last so long. Okay, after a while, once the so-called narcissist or the toxic partner or friend or family member or even the worker, co-worker or boss knows that you are just as human as everyone else, then that's when you fall down from the pedestal. Okay, I always have issues with this whole thing about placing someone high up on a pedestal, because if you can place a person high up on a pedestal, you can also bring him or her down. And the same thing applies to church or religious institutions. They are basically high control relationship, church or religious relationships, which can actually also demand a lot of you. They have the same kind of dynamics. One moment they put it up high up there, saying that you're loved by God, you are precious, you are so good and capable. But the very next moment, you come crashing down into hell. Okay, not a literal hell, but an emotional, spiritual hell that they put you through. Okay, so that's something to take note of. And okay, when you know that you need to leave, this has to do with the element of control and power. Okay, there are two dynamics to this wheel of abuse. Okay, one is power, the other is control. Okay, so when someone tries to assert power, okay, to imply that they're higher than you, okay. That's one thing. The next thing is actually control. Okay, control is trying to literally control, just stop you from doing certain things or me do certain things which are often against your values. Okay, so I think in my case, I mean, I'm very aware of myself because I used to be from this kind of background in the fundamentalist Bible Presbyterian church. Okay, there's this kind of very legalistic control over the members, and I was from a relatively moderate one, but even then I could feel it coming off. I could feel it emanating from members. So, this kind of control can actually be felt in the way they look at you, in terms of the way you dress, okay? Not just the way you dress, your lifestyle. Okay, do you watch movies? Do you actually read certain books that they don't like certain literature? And do you listen to certain kinds of music which they see as worldly? Okay, so the thing is that I realized that a lot of these were simply just demarcation factors. Okay, and like, let's say that if I were to go and watch a movie, even just like Mel Gibson's The Passion of the Christ, because it's directed and made or produced from a Catholic point of view, and they know that I've watched it, okay, there'll be a big like reaction from them saying how it is actually not so good for Christians, okay, evangelical Christians, as they came to watch that. There's a lot of this confirmation bias, the kind of loop, okay, and then the same thing with no listening of pop music, no studying of psychology, because you're supposed to feel guilt for your sins, you're not supposed to say forgive yourself and ask. Yeah, basically, there's a lot of control down here. Okay, so okay, and when does power come in? Power comes in. I was talking about love bombing, and from love bombing falling down into the face of devaluation when they actually bring you down. Okay, this is itself linked to the dynamic of power. Okay, when someone asserts that he or she is higher than you, okay, superior to you, and in my experience, this is very common even in the Bible Presbyterian Church or Fundamentalist Church. When does but it can apply to any denomination, okay, or any organization. When does it happen? Okay, this is the whole idea of an in-group. Okay, what do I mean by in-group? People who subscribe to a particular belief or action or philosophy, okay? And so let's say if you do not fall into the in-group, you are being outcasted, you're being ostracized. So in my case, I was actually ostracized a lot because I wasn't practicing psychology, but I had a lot of reading and everything, and I actually stood by its usefulness. But because of that, I had a bunch of people in church back then who were ostracizing me, outcasting me as someone who is pagan, who is heretic, who is not really safe, who is too worldly for his own good. And that my association with Catholics in terms of my friends, and they didn't help me very much. And on top of that, there was this whole thing about the church's own definitive doctrine of Calvinism. Calvinism is the idea that God has decided who is going to go to heaven and who is going to go to hell, and without God, it's a very arbitrary version of God. So basically, without even any need to even what you do doesn't matter, because ultimately, if you are elected, you will still go to heaven. Okay, it doesn't matter. You can sin all you want, 100 sins or whatever, 1,000 sins, but ultimately, because you are elected, you'll be go to heaven. Okay, and the same thing applies for people who are very good people, doing a lot of good deeds. But you know what? Because you're not elected, you are therefore evil. God will send you to hell, and He enjoys that. This is simply the version of God that they have, and it's a very capricious version. It's a monster. I was thinking, what monster is that? He's a God that actually ordained evil and suffering, and He enjoys it. Okay. What do you do when you say that? Oh, God actually ordains the baby that's being unalive, and the one who's gang RAP rate, okay? And all these things, they can never come up with an exact answer. But you know, when these doctrines of Calvinism, theistic, which I call theistic determinism, come up, they will actually start using the whole idea. Oh, you don't know what it is all about. You know what is grace? No, I rather not have this grace. But then they will become a dynamic of power, saying, "Oh, I'm superior because I can believe in it. I can assert it. Unlike you, you are unbelieving, so therefore you are beneath us." Okay. So I seriously urge you all. I'm not saying that churches which or even organizations or religions that practices high control is necessarily a cult, but there are definitely cult-like qualities. When they start making you compromise on your own sense of moral values, what's right and wrong, doing something that's uncomfortable, and in worst case scenario, they start getting you to treat people badly, or isolating yourself from them, from certain groups, you know that there's something wrong with that particular religious setting. Okay, it's time to leave. Okay, and do I recommend talking it through with them? No. Okay, just leave quietly as far as you can, okay, because I've done this kind of talking through with people in that kind of setting, but it came to naught, and in the end I realized, you know what, every Sunday is my attempt to actually escape from them. I went to the evening service at 5 p.m., but I was still late anyway. But I wasn't feeling well. I was emotionally down, depressed, and anxious, and I kind of like I hated going to church. Okay, so I felt so liberated when I left for Canada. Okay, now coming back, I don't really freaking care. You know that I converted to become Eastern Orthodox, so I don't care. Okay, these people can literally just get lost while I care. Because what excuse is it that you have to use God to abuse other people and to control other people? That's not God. That's not love. Okay, and I would rather not have this kind of love. Okay, so anyway, yeah, just stay safe. Avoid high controlling religious environments and organizations. Okay, and yeah, stay safe and stay sound. Okay, bye bye.